Welcome to Oyate Today. Oyate in Lakota means people. Brought to you by Native Sun News Today. Hi, welcome to Oyate Today. I am your host, Richie Richards. Oyate Today is produced by Tim and Jackie Gallego. Tim is an enrolled member of the Oglala Sioux tribe. Our guest tonight is Principal Cary Davis of General Beetle Elementary here in Rapid City. Principal Davis, thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. What an honor. I look forward to having this conversation with you.
And we're equally pleased to have you as well, ma'am. So I'm very grateful for you to be here tonight. One of the things, well, let's just jump right in. I understand that 70% or thereabouts of students at General Beetle are Native American students. Could you talk a little bit about the Native American population in your school?
Yes, I mean, General Beetle, of course, is a school. It's a wonderful, loving, caring school. We have so many staff members that every day they dig in and work really hard with these students. But yes, we do. We have about 70% of our students are Native. And it changes. Each year is a little bit different. We have a lot of mobility in our school, so it changes just a little bit. But it just helps. We have a lot of good things going on in our school that support, such as a Lakota language class that we have for our second graders. We have Oyate. We bring in quite a few things just to help support what we're doing educationally and to support our Native students.
In supporting the students, you're actually helping to support the families and the community. So I appreciate the work that you're doing with that. And we'll get into a little bit more of it as we go along here tonight. The North Rapid community has historically been known as a impoverished community, unfortunately. Many of those families happen to be Native American. Can you talk about some of the challenges that you're faced as principal of General Beetle there in North Rapid in this very, kind of impoverished community, basically? What are some of the challenges of being a principal at a school like this?
Yes, and of course, the students. I love the students and seeing their faces every day. And one of the challenges is having them come in and just trying to support them in everything that we can do. Just being empathetic to some of the challenges they have being in poverty. We have 1 in 4 who live in poverty at General Beetle. So having them come in and being prepared for school is a challenge. Making sure that they have everything they need from school supplies to even a coat to go outside on these cold days, making sure that they have breakfast, they have lunch, after school care. We do a lot of that, and that's a challenge because we want to make sure that they have everything they need so that they can excel in the classroom. But then the challenge is providing all those and then also stepping into that realm that we're educators and we've got to push all the time to get them reading and being proficient, but yes, still loving and caring for them and making sure that they have everything they need. So that brings a challenge because you only have so much time in a day.
Sure, sure. And so in order to provide some of those services, you need kind of outside resources from the community. I understand Black Hills Energy is one of those service providers or some of those people that are supporting your efforts there. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Black Hills Energy has been with us for about 7 years over at General Beetle, and they're a fantastic support for us. They come in and help with Christmas presents. The last few years, they've come in and helped us to purchase Christmas presents for all of our students. They come in and do presentations with our students. We get to do field trips with them. They have volunteers that come in and meet with students, read with students. I mean, there's so many wonderful things that they do, but even just being somebody that we can reach out to and say, hey, we need help with this. These students, they need some support. They've been a fantastic resource for us.
Sure, definitely. One of the things that goes along with Native Americans and poverty is the historical trauma and the historical kind of generational trauma, I would say, and that intergenerational trauma of many years, many decades of living in such a life. And so those students come to your school. Many of them come off of reservations. Many of them have been living here in Rapid City, or their family's been living here in Rapid City for a long time. I'm sure that you recognize those students within your school. So how do you, as a principal and as an educator, reach out to those students and those families?
One of the most important things that I have found at General Beetle, whether it's the students or the families, is building that relationship. So important, because any of the students, if they don't really understand where you're coming from or that you care or love them, they're not going to work hard for you in the classroom. They're not going to respect you or respond to you when you're trying to give them some guidance or direction. But when I see them, a lot of times those students. Being the principal, we have kiddos that come into the office. Well, if I haven't built that relationship with them, or the teacher hasn't, or I haven't connected with the families, it makes it really hard to just have a conversation with them, find out what they need, where they are, and how we can get them back into the classroom. So I found that I just have to dig in and really get to know them. Hugs. I give out hugs a lot, or even the high fives. And sooner or later, they kind of feel that and that energy and that positive that, hey, I'm glad you're here, usually makes a difference. You start to build that with those students, and any of them. I mean, there's so many of our students that just need that, to know that you care and want to help them and support them in the classroom. And you can really make a lot of headway with them.
Sure. Principal Davis, I appreciate you telling us that, and basically stating that nurturing is part of your job, a major part of your job in not only General Beetle, but I'm sure in your life and other things as well. So I appreciate you doing that for the students here. Can you tell me some of the highlights of, say, this year or in your past years at General Beetle? What are some of the things that stick out in your memory as really positive things for our community?
Yes, I think, and nothing like fantastic or huge, it's just some of the students. Even thinking of a 5th grade student that started new for us this year, again, building that relationship with him. Now he comes in the mornings, he's usually running a little late. He comes in the mornings, and I always greet the students in the morning, and he comes in and I get this huge hug. It's taken a little bit, but build that relationship with him. I check in with him, I talk to him, and it's just, he actually seeks me out too sometimes for those hugs. I have other students. I had a student who now she's a freshman, and she was back the other day and brought me pictures, her yearbook pictures. And she brought those in, and I got a hug, and she just wanted to talk and say, hey, how's it going down here? I mean, that just means too, again, I connected with her well enough that she remembers and she wants to talk. Those are the highlights. Those are the pieces that give me goosebumps and make me just even want to tear up that I made a connection with those students, and it's just amazing.
Sure.
I love that part.
Are there some challenges associated with meeting the state standards? And in regards to where you are as General Beetle or as principal of General Beetle, where are we with meeting some of those standards set by the state of South Dakota?
Yes, it's a huge challenge. I mean, we're always looking at our scores and our numbers. We run pretty low when it comes to our numbers, but part of that challenge is our mobility. We have kiddos who are in and out so much all the time, whether they're moving around in town because they need to find housing, or whether it's the reservation that they need to go home and they're living with grandma for a while and then they come back. So that makes a huge difference, because when the kids aren't in school or even they're making that transition, it's really hard for them to come back and then get settled in and then to grow and learn. I mean, again, goes back to that relationship piece, that understanding, really that taking that time to get them settled back into the classroom. So we have a lot of that, and that's a challenge. We have new students a lot too. So even besides our students that come and go and their mobility, we also have new students. We turn over our school about 100% every year.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just amazing how many kiddos come in and out or have to move. And so that starts a challenge, because again, if it's that relationship, then you're starting fresh with these students and the teachers and really digging in and build. And it makes it really hard to really push to have them reading, but we do it a lot. I mean, even right now, one of the focuses that we have in our building is that data, knowing where those kiddos are, knowing exactly what they can read, what they can do in math, and then trying to push them further all the time.
Yes. And so are the schools is there a network that exists that kind of follows a student who is in that transition, who has that fluid, I guess, family lifestyle of moving back and forth from the reservation or moving back and forth from neighborhood to neighborhood, also living with grandma or another family member? Is there something that kind of keeps data on those students and sees that when student A goes to school B, that his or her records are kept and his needs are still being met?
Right. Within the district, yes. You can look at any of the stuff that's online in district, but if they leave town, then no, it's really hard to track them. In the past, actually, Junior Bedelion, when he was here as an Indian Ed Indian education director, he tried to help with those connections. We had some different meetings that we tried to connect with so that we could reach out and say, hey, you have this kiddo, this is what we know, this is what's going on, can you let us know if they're going to be coming back this way? I mean, it was fantastic. It was actually one of the best things that we could do, but at this point we just don't have that anymore.
Sure.
Tried. I mean, it was a good attempt to try it, but at this point, no. Sometimes they even move within district and we don't know exactly where they are. We don't hear from them for a little bit.
Sure. Principal Davis, we're going to take a break and have a word from our sponsors. When we get back, we'll learn a little bit more about the benefit of having Junior Betleon and the outreach that is going on at General Beetle. So we'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
You know, it's really busy in the coffee house, not just in the morning, but all day long. And it's really important that we serve our customers hot coffee that's ready for them when they're ready for it.
We get that, Michelle. And our team at Black Hills Energy will make sure you have the electricity you need to keep that Java nice and hot. Speaking of hot Java, how about a cup for the road? Black Hills Energy. Life sponsored by Energy.
You can't predict life's ups and downs. You just give it all you've got to stay on top. But it's easier with a partner like Security First Bank. Since 1898, we've been riding with you through the country's biggest ups and downs. And this is where we'll stay. Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on. Member FDIC.
Native Sun News has been voted the best weekly newspaper in its class for 2015 by the South Dakota and North Dakota Newspaper Associations. You can find a copy of the Native Sun News at many businesses and vending machines in Rapid City and the surrounding area, and on all 9 reservations. We publish every Wednesday, so advertisers and subscribers can reach our diverse readership by calling 605-721-1266. The Native Sun News covers the other side of the story.
Thank you.
Kindness. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Hi, welcome back to Oyate Today. I am your host, Richie Richards. Our guest tonight, once again, is Principal Cary Davis of General Beetle here in North Rapid City. So, Principal Davis, once again, thank you for being here tonight. Before the break, we had talked a little bit about some of the outreach that's happening at General Beetle. So could you tell us a little bit more? I know that you have family night, there's Ate social programs. So could you talk a little bit about those programs that you have going on?
Yes, I think that's one of the pieces that makes General Beetle what it is all the different resources and the outreach pieces, the partners that we have. Our family nights is something that we do special at General Beetle. We have family nights once a month. It's amazing. It took us a few years to develop it, again, going back to the relationships and really getting the families in,
Sure.
But they're fantastic. I mean, we have usually 300, 400 people coming in. We feed them, they do activities, for example, we did a STEM night, so we did the science and technology,
Wow.
the math, and we just let the kids and the parents explore, but it's not threatening. They love it. It's fantastic. I think our families have really developed that. Plus we give away raffles, and then everybody's very friendly. Like, that's my event. I love those events because, again, too, I walk around, I'm at the door, I meet the families, I get a chance to talk to them. That's that relationship building that's huge, so important.
Sure.
We have the community health center that's right there on site, so all of our families have the opportunity for that service so that it supports them. We have the public library piece that's open at night and on the weekends for our students to have access to computers, to have books, to have somewhere to go if they need to study quietly. It's been wonderful. They even do some activities after school for some of the students because many of our students stay.
Sure.
They're there. I was trying to think, where else did we want to dig into?
Well, for family night, you mentioned that you had a program with STEM.
Yes.
And so would General Beetle or yourself be looking for other educators or other programs to come in and possibly contribute to family night. Would you guys be looking for something like that?
Yes, definitely. We always want other businesses or partners or families or anybody who wants to come in. One of our family nights that we had last year that we'll get to this year is more of an art night. We had one of our families, they came in and they were doing, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, but they came in and actually were doing woodwork. Like they brought in their saw. This is one of our families. They wanted to come in and do that. So they would create something for the students to paint.
Wow.
It was
okay.
awesome. We loved it. They just were fantastic and they want to come back again. So we'll probably do that. Even literacy nights, if there's families that come in and just want to be a part or to support and help, yes, anytime. We always want that.
I understand you did well, there's a Lakota language program
Yes.
for second grade. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Who's the family or who's the person that comes in and does this?
Right, and that was kind of a partnership with North Middle School that we did. So Savannah Gresseth, and I may say her name wrong, Gresseth, because she's new with us this year. So it was part of one of our schedule pieces that we had. I mean, they have their PE, music, and IMS, and with second grade, because of the 4 sections, we needed a 4th section. So we sat down and kind of talked, and she is a certified Lakota teacher. Fantastic. Let's teach our second grade. So our second graders get access to that a couple of times a week. It's not every single
Wow.
day,
Yeah.
but it has been wonderful. You'll walk down the hallway in that pod area and you hear them. That's all she'll speak to them is Lakota.
Wow.
Yes.
Isn't that something?
It is. It's fantastic.
One of the things that's, one of the stigmas of historical trauma and that intergenerational trauma is bringing back that spirit or bringing back that Lakota value system to a child or to a family. And language and instituting language within your school at General Beadle and other places is a great benefit for the families and the students. Have you seen changes in such students?
Yes, I think so. I mean, just different connections because besides the Lakota language class we have for second grade, every Wednesday we also play the Lakota flag song.
Wow.
We had a grandpa who would come in and sing it, but then they moved schools. So we lost him, but then we ended up being able to find it on tape so that we could play that.
Sure.
Even that changed some of our families and our kiddos. They came in and they were just very happy to hear that we were doing that. Some of the students have made comments. Some of the students are practicing the flag song so that maybe they can sing it for us. Those kind of things. I mean, very appreciative that we're bringing that in.
Sure.
It's I mean, again, that relationship. They're happy to see that we want to dig in and learn. There's other opportunities. Different classrooms will do things. They'll talk about where the students are from. And it's not even just the native cultures. They'll talk about any other cultures and they'll just spend some time getting to know who each student is. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? Where's your family from? What's your history? What's your background? And it's just amazing. All the students and the teachers, they all learn so much from it.
Principal Davis, what you're doing as an educator there in North Rapid City is you're really elevating a community. Whether you believe that or not, you're really bringing up the community in a way that starts at the school but ends at the playground or ends at the community meeting, where these young students of yours, young children basically, are taking that knowledge, taking that experience back to their families and sharing that with their parents, with their grandparents, with their older brothers and sisters, younger brothers and sisters. So you're really elevating and building up a community. So I really appreciate your work in that area. One of the benefits to General Beadle is having the Oyate program part of your schools. Could you tell me a little bit more about the benefit of having Oyate in your school?
Yes, we are very lucky. We've always had some fantastic mentors. I mean, they've changed a little bit over the last few years, but always had some amazing mentors. Even Stephen Yellowhawk was one of our mentors once upon a time. Wonderful, connections with Whitney Rencouter. Awesome. Robbie is now our mentor, and it's just, we're very lucky and the students are very lucky to have him. And the benefits of having them around is just having that role model, that mentor, that person that he even comes in and helps at lunchtime so he can have those conversations with kids, so he can model what he thinks is good behavior for any student to follow. Those communication pieces that we have too. I mean, Robbie and I can sit down and talk, and we can talk about students. If there's one of them who needs a little extra support, I can go talk to him a little bit about it, and he carries it over into their program. It's amazing. They're a huge benefit to us, but again, it just makes a difference too that relationship that Robbie and I have, that we've been able to do that.
Sure, sure. I really do appreciate their work in other schools
Yes.
as well. So I understand that you have a food pantry and a clothes closet. Could you talk about the food pantry and the clothes closet at General Beetle?
Yes, the clothes closet is always accessible. So if there's any families, elementary, usually most of our clothes are fit elementary students, but we can reach up into a little higher level, middle school kids. But our clothes closet is always available. If somebody would call General Beetle and say, you know what, my kiddos need some shoes, my kiddos need a coat. Some are new, some are used. It's just whatever we can collect to fill that closet, which is usually very full. And we have families come in and they can access what they need. Maybe we need socks, maybe we need shoes, coat, scarves, hats. A lot of that comes back to our partners too. We have so many partners that will donate and help support that. Bethel Assembly is one up the block that they helped us start our clothes closet. I have a community coordinator who has helped put volunteers in there to help families. It's great. I mean, our families know that. And then the mobile food truck is not necessarily a Beetle thing, but because it's very much needed in our area. We do it the last Friday of each month, and they use our east parking lot. And it's at 2 o'clock is when it starts, and usually we do. We have people that are wrapped around the building in line. We've had times where they've been in cars and it's been all the way around the building. But again, it's just that need. They need that, and we want to be there to offer that support. Whether it's just our location and they come, or they call us and they're like, hey, we need some help. How can you help us? There's been times I've even said, you know, yep, let me connect you with this person. If you need some help, I can do that.
Thank you, Principal Davis. That's very much appreciated. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with a little bit more from Principal Davis. We'll learn a little bit more about her personal life, and we want to know who you are and what is the basis of all these great things you're doing for our community. So we'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
I want some more.
What's he doing?
But he can't.
Look at him. It's just not done.
Please, sir, I want some more.
More? More?
More? Please, sir.
He has asked for more!
Thank you.
What?
Well, he did say please, sir.
Yes, he did. And thank you.
Yeah, and thank you.
He's a wonderful boy. A delightful boy.
Please, and thank you. Pass it on.
Thank you.
If Youth and Family Services weren't available in this community, there would be a lot of unmet basic needs. Very few organizations do as good a job as Youth and Family Services, getting every ounce of usefulness out of people's time, their dollars that they donate.
Youth and Family Services help so many kids. It's a great value to the community.
Join me, because together we help kids.
Hi, welcome back to Oyate Today. I'm your host, Richie Richards. Our guest tonight is Principal Cary Davis of General Beetle Elementary here in Rapid City. Principal Davis, once again, thank you.
Yes.
I understand that you were a teacher in Nebraska before moving to Rapid City and becoming a principal and educator in the area. So could you tell me a little bit about your experience in Nebraska as a teacher?
Yes. So I grew up in Alliance, Nebraska. And that's where I attended school, grade school, went to Chadron State for college, and wanted to be an educator. During the summers, I even did summer school, really loved the kids, so stepped into the classroom. It's interesting because the principal that I had when I was an educator was kind of that old school principal. You know, they kind of walked the building, they just checked in every once in a while, didn't always know all the students' names and who they were, you know, just that basic, simple that maybe you kind of remember. It's changed so much. Like even to myself stepping into that role and wanting to be a principal and wanting to oversee everything and start to get to know the kids and get to know the teachers and my community was my first step. But then even too now at General Beetle, it's so different. I mean, I would have never known my past history principals to know almost all the students' names, to be giving hugs to families and parents and making those connections, being able to do the outreach with our families. It's just amazing how it's changed. But besides that, too, like that instructional leader, to walk into the classroom and spend hours just watching teachers and the kids and how they learn and where we need to go with things next. I mean, it's just amazing how it's evolved over the years to be a principal.
Yeah, I can remember having several principals who didn't give me hugs, but if they did, I'm sure I would have excelled a lot more in that area. But could you talk a little bit about your personal history? Where did you grow up? Where were you born and raised?
Yes, so I am the oldest of 5 girls. My dad, he was quite the saint. He was, most of my life, he was a single parent. And so I helped raise my sisters a lot, being the oldest of them. That maybe is kind of what led me into leadership, is guiding 4 younger sisters to do the right things.
Sure.
Pretty entertaining. And so in Alliance, Nebraska, small town, about 10,000 people. Growing up there, playing sports. I played basketball, loved basketball. Went to Black Hills State and played basketball a little bit. Even that's one of my highlights now, is to follow some of the kids around playing basketball. We have 5th graders who are in traveling teams, and I try to get to their games. I have a 6th grader that I try to hit some of their games too, and just watch and be a part of what they're doing. I have some of my own kiddos that have played sports as well. I have a son and daughter who both attend college. One's at USF, one's at Brookings. But then I have a 5-year-old who tests my patience, and I'm tired.
Yeah,
most of the time.
I could imagine, definitely.
Yes.
And so how did you come to Rapid City then? Did you come here as a teacher then? Did you fill a principal position? How did you get to Rapid City then?
Yeah, so the 5 years I was in the classroom, I worked on my master's degree to be an education, or an administrator, and just trying to figure out where I wanted to go. I knew I needed to go somewhere else, to expand, to grow, and so I just started looking everywhere. I was in Wyoming, other places in Nebraska, Rapid City, and then this is where I landed. I guess this is where I was meant to be, was here in Rapid City. So I was hired when, 12 years ago. So I've been in the district about 12 years. 12 years ago, came in at South Canyon as the principal, and then moved over to Beetle after 4 years. I don't know, again, it was just one of those things. It must have been, my journey or my path, and even led me to General Beetle. But I think even for myself to leave Alliance, Nebraska, to leave the classroom, I wanted to do more. I wanted to be able to reach out to more students and families. I wanted to be able to, build those relationships to help model even for my 4 younger sisters that, I'm going to college, I'm expanding, I'm growing. It's just amazing that sometimes what you want to do for your family, to show them what you can do and to move on to grow. And then even too, it expands yourself. And where I am now, sadly, I can't even see myself anywhere else but General Beetle right now, because I just feel like this is still where I need to be, and still make some changes to help students to grow or learn or connect, or have more students that come back and say, you know what, thank you. I know who you were, I remember you, and I appreciate you just being there for me.
Yes, and I think your leadership in that position, in that role, is important. And I know that students have improved attendance while you were a principal here at General Beetle. So could you talk a little bit about that? I know that you've had a student who was recently featured on, was it Good Morning America?
Yes, she did make Good Morning America. So last year, one of our 5th graders, Tracelyn Strand, 5 years of perfect attendance.
Wow.
I mean, wonderful support from her family, from Junior Battalion, and just digging in and building that relationship with them, knowing they needed to be there. But 5 years,
wow,
it was amazing. But yes, attendance. I gave away bikes at the end of the year.
That's amazing. Principal Davis, I want to thank you for being on our show tonight. I want to thank our sponsors and our producers, and thank you for making Oyate Today a part of your night.
You've been watching Oyate Today, brought to you by Native Sun News Today.